Hello, happy Friday. I'm here today to talk with you about how to make the most of your loft conversion. And apologies for any noise in the background. I have got a decorator here and working on my place, so I am sort of living and working in the middle of a building site at the moment. So I have to forgive any noises that you might hear. I might get interrupted as well. But how to make most of a loft conversion. So I'll start off with introducing myself if you've not come across me before. I'm Jane. I'm a chartered architect, the founding director of iArchitect, and I specialise in helping homeowners make your home an enjoyable place to be, a place that you want to spend time with your friends and your family. I specialise in working with homeowners of period property, homes that were built pre-1940, and especially for homes in conservation areas, and for people who are looking to have an interest in protecting the planet and having a bit more energy efficiency and a better sort of functioning home. So that's me, and so a lot of the work that I do involves loft conversions, extensions, single, double story, and internal reconfigurations of homes. And for loft conversions, there are a few watch points that you really need to look out for, and a few things that you can do to really maximise the amount of space that you've got available. So the first thing to consider is height. The height of the floor to ceiling of the first floor or the second floor, the top floor below the loft, and then the height from the ceiling to the ridge and the top of the joist, the depth of the ceiling to the top of the ceiling joists for the loft, and then from the top of the ceiling joists to the ridge. So the ceiling joists are the pieces of timber that span from one wall to another, and that's what the plaster will be fixed up to underneath. And the ridge is the piece of timber, usually sometimes it's steel, which spans it's at the very apex, the very tip of the roof, where the roof slopes. So that is the ridge, the very top of the roof. And you need the ridge will have a thickness, so you want to know the thickness of both the ridge and of the rafters, which are the pieces of timber that go down with the slope of the roof. And so you need to know the thickness of both of those things, plus from the top of your ceiling joist to the underside of your ridge. That is the sort of, that's the, if I'm just checking if it's possible to do something, that's the first measurement that I would take to just really see where we're up to. So from the floor to the inside of the ceiling, the inside of the ceiling to the top of the ceiling joist, and from the top of the ceiling joist to the underside of the ridge, to get you a really good idea of height. And then it's useful to know what your pitch of your roof is. If it's very steep, then you'll start to find that you're losing height quickly, and so there's an only smaller area in the middle or underneath the ridge where you've got walking height. If it's a shallower pitch, you're losing height less quickly, so you'll have more area within the loft space that you can use. So why are these things important? Well, if you've got a very tall floor to ceiling height on the top floor, first or second, then you've got the option to drop that ceiling. This sounds quite radical. In a modern home, you're looking at around 2.4 metres is a typical ceiling height. And yes, for someone who's used to living in a Victorian home where the typical ceiling height can vary quite widely and commonly will be anything from 2.8 metres right up to 3.6 metres, so you've got quite a significant amount more height than a modern house. But you can still drop that height and still have a perfectly good room. The only thing that you will then need to take into account is the top of your windows to see sometimes in a Victorian home especially, the windows, older style windows tend to be more vertical and tall so that they could get more light into the back of a room. So check the height from the floor to the top of the window, and then that will give you some room potentially to play with, so you could drop your ceiling, and then that would mean that you can make more usable space in your loft without having to do something more expensive like add a dormer on. The other benefit to you of dropping the floor and the ceiling of the loft is that then you'll need less steps to go up, and the steps will take floor space out of the loft and out of your first floor. Ideally, you want, where you can, to position stairs over the top of your existing stairs, so you're likely to have stairs already unless it's a bungalow with a loft conversion. But if you're already got the staircase, then your ideal plan will have your stairs going over the top, returning back up over the top of those stairs, so that you're minimizing the impact on your floor plan for both your first, second, ground floor, whichever it is, and to your loft space as well. And so the shorter the height from the floor of your first, say for argument's sake we'll call it the first, from the floor of your first to the floor of your loft, the shorter that height, the fewer steps you need, and that will therefore also take out less floor space. So that is one way that you can make more of the loft conversion if you're planning a loft conversion, and reduce the amount of cost that may be associated with that by not necessarily needing to do a dormer extension to get enough usable space for it to be worthwhile. Yeah, one short tip for you today. If you have any comments or any questions, please put them in the comments below. If you're watching the replay, please put #replay and then add any comments. I will look back. I will get notifications that you've commented, so I will come back and see what they are, and I will do my best to answer them. I'll either answer them in a reply to that comment, or I might pick up your question and use that as the basis for another live stream Q&A in the future. If you have any more questions about how to make the most of your loft conversion, or your reconfiguration of your space, or an extension, or something else, maybe how to improve the energy efficiency of your home, or anything along those lines that you're concerned about with your home and you're looking for some more information, please questions below in the comments and I'll pick them up. Okay, bye for now.